All right, so selling on Amazon internationally. So what are the pros and the cons, Damien, of doing this? If you're looking to start a Amazon business, I've actually been on Amazon for 10 years. My wife and I operate an e-commerce business selling our snacks, candies, and baked goods. So in this podcast, I'm actually going to dive into some of the pros and cons and some of the benefits and pluses and all that good stuff of selling internationally. Now, it's not exactly an easy thing to do. You have had quite a few problems over the years learning, especially the first couple of years when I didn't know exactly how all of that worked. But 10 years later, and we've done, I think it's just slightly over 1.2 million. We did this last year was a little bit over 1.2 million over the past 10 years. It's about 100 grand a year or so, which has been very, very good, but it's a lot of work and it is definitely not an easy road to travel on. So let's dive into this. All right, so selling on Amazon for the pros and the cons. All right, so remember, in an era of globalization, which of course we are in, businesses that seek to amplify their reach, they're often drawn to massive platforms to transcend their borders. Now, one such titan, of course, is Amazon. But what happens when one contemplates selling on Amazon internationally, not domestically? Is it a golden pathway to a global profitability, or is it a maze fraught with obstacles and hurdles? To shed some light on this quandary, we're actually going to dive into some of the distinct pros and cons of selling on Amazon, no matter what the product is, because it poses a unique proposition for you to make money, but can be really odd to do. So, expansive customer base. So the world is your oyster when you step onto the international Amazon stage. By venturing beyond your domestic borders, sellers access a vast spectrum of potential customers. Now, it's not merely about selling to one nation or even one demographic. It's actually open market for the gates, globally speaking, for your product. Now, elevated brand recognition. So introducing your brand to diverse market aids in cementing its global reputation. You're looking to launch a global brand. Now, as more people across continents recognize the trust in your brand, and it fosters a sense of uniqueness and longevity, selling on Amazon. Potential for your increased revenue streams. Now, this is, of course, true as well. Now, you want to expand multiple markets. Well, great. But that equates to tapping into multiple revenue streams. Different regions can have varying peak sale times during holiday seasons, or even cultural events. So now this creates a buffer against domestic market fluctuations if you're selling within the US. Leverage of Amazon's fulfillment infrastructure. Now, I talk about it quite often here on my channel. Amazon's Fulfillment by Amazon FBA service is a blessing for international sellers because it handles storage, packaging, and shipping, ensuring products reach customers in optimal condition, of course, within the stipulated time frame for delivery. That's really important. Now, insight into your international market trends. This is something that's really unique too in regards to the data that you have access to. Selling internationally offers a firsthand perspective into global markets. Now, this can be invaluable, providing information on which products are popular in specific regions, allowing for strategic inventory decisions when it comes to FBA. Now, let's dive into some of the cons of selling on Amazon internationally. Now, there are complex tax and legal impediments. Yes, it's kind of a confusing thing, and some people don't understand it fully, and I'm actually still learning as we go, but international selling isn't merely about dispatching products across oceans, of course. It's a labyrinth dance with tax regulations, import duties, compliance laws of each country. Ignorance isn't bliss here. You need to know what's going on. So currency and payment challenges. Now, dealing with currencies can be a double-edged sword. Now, while it provides flexibility, it also introduces complications like fluctuating exchange rates, which can impact profit margins. Now, additionally, navigating through diverse payment gateways and methods for different countries can be a bit cumbersome and extremely challenging to understand. Now, logistical hurdles. This is also something that I actually dealt with quite often. Shipping internationally carries its own set of logistical challenges. Now, different countries have their own rules and regulations for product labeling, packaging standards, and even import restrictions. This requires a meticulous understanding to detail and often involves partnering with local logistic providers. Now, cultural and linguistic barriers. This is a problem that we've ran into before as well. One man's meat, of course, is another man's poison, as it's called, but a product that's bestseller in one country might be a dud in another due to cultural nuances. Now, product listings need to be accurately and contextually with multiple languages demanding specialized expertise. Now, also there's increased competition internationally as opposed to domestic. Now, the allure, of course, selling on Amazon internationally isn't exclusive to you. Many sellers are eyeing the same prize, and this kind of heightens the competition and can lead to price wars, pushing profit margins to razor-thin levels just to compete with these other sellers. Now, the other problem is return and customer service challenges. Now, international returns can be a logistic nightmare. I know this when I ship some stuff to Canada. It's a whole nother story, whole nother video. Furthermore, providing top-notch customer service in different time zones and possibly in different languages demands significant resources and expertise. So keep these things in mind to keep it short, sweet, and simple to the point. In the grand tapestry of e-commerce, selling on Amazon internationally is both a boon and a challenge. It promises unparalleled reach, but diverse revenue streams and prestige along your global brand. But yet, it's not a journey devoid of hurdles. It demands market understanding and adaptability as well. Keep in mind diverse regulations in different countries. So, if you're ambitious enough and you're prepared for the international Amazon arena, it can be a gold mine. But as with any endeavor, the significance of the magnitude it mandates through research, careful strategic planning, and delivering on a value, make sure that you understand your global audience to a T. Now, some of the things that we've incurred over the past few years is a bit of a challenge when the logistics came into play. Many of the products that we have can either be temperature sensitive with some of the chocolates that we make and some of the other products. That was something that was a big deal. Now, if you're selling something that's not obviously going to be hindered by temperature or the transit time to get from here to another country, Amazon poses a lot of great benefits and pluses. Also, the idea of creating your own brand or private labeled products and having it made for you with your name on it is not always a guarantee that it will sell really well. What's really important if you do this is something that we do all the time because we make our own product with our own brand, our own labeling. You've got to keep in mind, you have to make it a little bit of a nuance, a little different, slight difference in subtleties in your product, which will separate you or differentiate you. So if you want to sell on Amazon, but you want to make it profitable and everybody's selling a product similar to yours, try your best to come up with something slightly different, a variation in package size, a variation in the quantity that it has, the quality, the ingredients. It happens to be a food item, obviously. If it's any other product, check and see what those features are, the product features, and see if you can add something to it. But create a product that's not exactly a fast seller or a hot one to sell because everybody's selling it. That was the one reason why our buy box averaged over the past 10 years around 92 to 95% every single year, every single month, because of the fact that what we sell and what we make in food products, they are not exactly the same as everyone else's. Plus, what we add as far as any freebies or you buy this, you get that free or some additional add-ons, they distinctively set us apart from other sellers. And that's one of the reasons why we've done so well over the past 10 years. It's going on 10 years this year. So the one thing I would recommend in this podcast as I get ready to close it out, if you're looking to sell a food product specifically here on Marketing Food Online, that's what we really talk about in food entrepreneurship, but any product in general, you want to take that really great selling item, but make it a bigger value, maybe a bigger bag, a bigger package. Make it a different flavor profile. Make it something that's super unique, but it still falls in line with that category. So for instance, a great one, we actually tried to get our foot in the door with sunflower seeds. Sunflower seeds are something that sell just like hand over fist crazy on Amazon. They sell a lot. So we actually have a supplier. We got some sunflower seeds. We started flavoring them. We seasoned them. We roasted them. We had them. They were in the not out of the shell, but in the shell. We were trying to compete with some other brands. So we added that up, and we ended up seeing that particular flavor profiles sold really well, and others did not. But for us to invest in a large quantity of sunflower seeds, it made sense to focus on just a couple of flavors and then stick with that. So we kind of stopped trying to compete with other flavor profiles or other ones that are on the market that tasted similar. We started to make our own very unique ones. We actually have about 4 or 5 flavor profiles that are unlike anything that's on Amazon, and that's actually allowed us to kind of get into that marketplace and that put our foot in the door in a sense. So try to keep your product distinctively unique, but within the same category as something that's really popular. Like I said, if it's not food, if you have to get somebody to manufacture or private label it overseas and then ship it back to you, one thing you want to keep in mind too is when you begin to find a company who can produce a product overseas, you have to factor in all of the shipping costs and everything that's involved with getting it back here. Because then if you wanted to resell it and go international again with the product, that is a lot of expenses involved with it. So it has to be a really high ticketed item, or at least the transaction itself needs to be pretty high up there. Our average transaction for every order that we've had for 14 years online has been between $26, $28, $32, about $26 to $32 every transaction. Now that means some transactions we've done business, we've actually had Amazon even buy products from us. We had a pretzel order that was in a few $1,000s for just one order. And then we always get our basic order, which is $29, $30. So the prices, of course, fluctuate. The transaction amount fluctuates. But you want to make sure that you keep in mind all of the expenses to bring your product to you and then, of course, send it or ship it back out. So with that being said, we'll wrap up this podcast. Definitely check down below. We're on 11 platforms. You can check out all of our videos and, of course, our other podcasts for food entrepreneurship. We have one for food trucks. home-based food businesses, and so much more. Check out our blog as well. You can also tap into that. And I'll see you guys on our next video. Now, of course, keep in mind, if you've got questions about selling on Amazon, let us know down in the comments section. We'll definitely try to build out some content here on YouTube and, of course, maybe on a podcast to answer those questions. And if you need consulting, we offer consulting one-on-one calls directly with me. I'll see you on our next video. Can you sell homemade candy on Amazon? And can I sell snacks on Amazon? These are two great questions we got from you, our subscribers. And in this particular video, I'm actually going to dive into what you can and can't do. And you'd be kind of surprised at what you actually can't sell from home, at least through the internet. But we're going to dive into those two questions from you, our subscribers, right now. All right, so welcome back to Marketing Food Online. It is Damien, and as I said in the introduction, we're actually going to dive into two great questions from you guys, our subscribers. It's actually about Amazon and selling on Amazon and starting an Amazon business, but more particularly, it was actually about selling candy. Candy is a gigantic seller on Amazon. The category is full of literally hundreds of thousands of products, but there's always room for more and more and more. And of course, if you've got a unique take on candy, or you have your own recipe and you want to get your own homemade candy on Amazon, unfortunately, the answer is no. You can't legally. And why? Well, it's not exactly because of Amazon, to tell you the truth. It's actually because of the state's cottage food laws. When you start to produce a food product from home, or if you're making a candy from home, you cannot sell it over state lines. So that would actually prohibit you from making it and then shipping it over state lines into either Amazon's warehouse through their FBA program, or simply just shipping it out from your state to another customer in another state. So technically it would be illegal. But if you started to do it and Amazon actually allowed you to get through the ungated process and you did start to sell it, you don't want to definitely be in trouble. You don't want to get in trouble. I would highly recommend you not do that. But you can make a product in a commercially licensed kitchen. You can definitely get it packaged and created there and then ship it out. If the commercial kitchen would allow you to do that, there would be no problem in doing that, because you're actually technically not making it at home. And once you get an order on Amazon, you can ship the product from a commercial kitchen. Now, will it make sense to really rent out a commercial kitchen, Damien, to make a food product and then ship it when I actually get an order? Because I can't make it at home and store it there. It probably won't. So what I would recommend you do, that if you have a candy product and you're really desiring to get it onto Amazon and you want to do it legitimately and doing it the right way and of course legally, I would recommend that you actually rent out a commercial space yourself. Not necessarily a commercial kitchen, but actually a commercial space, and have the ability to produce the product in a commercial kitchen, but handle the logistics as far as shipping the candy to the customers through Amazon in that specific commercial location. Now, is that something I could do and really make money doing it, Damien? Of course you could, but there's a few things you need to understand. You would need to get a space that's, number one, has to be licensed, commercially licensed, and of course zoned as a commercially licensed facility. Get the permits and business licenses from the city and county of whatever they would need and require, because it is slightly different based on the city and county where you live. Everyone's a little different actually. Once you get that space and you get that facility up and running, then that would give you an opportunity to produce the product once it's packaged and it's not opened, it's not being remade, or if it's not being touched as far as the production end of it, then you would have to use that space sort of like a warehouse, and then from there you simply ship out your product. Now, I would recommend that you not do this with just one single candy product or even one product in general. It's always best to have at least 4 to 5 products, in my opinion. We started off, we actually have now about 250 different items, from chocolate pretzels to Oreos and then cookies and then different types of other items, snacks and things. That's something that we didn't do right off the bat. Over the years, we've added on to what we offer. So starting off with 4 or 5 items though, it gives your customers a variety of candy items to choose from if that's what you want to dive into. If you're looking to get into candy, that's perfectly fine. Now, a few things you need to think about too is your packaging, your price point, and of course bundling and the shipping. You want to be sure that your price points are around $25 to $30, because anything less than that, as far as the fees and shipping goes, if you're going to offer free shipping, it will pretty much eat up most of your profit. And you don't want to sell an item for $5, $4, $6, $7, $8. It's not going to be profitable. Well, Damien, how can I really sell $30 worth of candy? Believe it or not, you actually can. There's a lot of people who sell bulk products that can be either repackaged or resold on Amazon. You can either bundle the product if you've got a variety, 4 or 5 flavors of it together, maybe make a pound of each bag and you've got 5 pounds. You can easily sell that for $30+ if you've got multiple products that you're bundling. So don't try to shoot for just a singular product at about a $5, $6, or $7. That's not going to be profitable for you, but you can definitely make a good portion of a profit and a good margin if you're up and around that $30 to $28, $25 range and higher. So next up, can I sell snacks on Amazon? Again, yes, you can actually. That is something that you can do as well. But again, from home, you wouldn't be able to start to do that. But you could when you rent a small space and you can produce a snack product there. Or you can buy products like snacks and you can break them down and put them into bundle packs. Just recreate a specific ASIN number for that product when you're creating the listing. And be sure to make sure that the bundle pack is actually wrapped up completely and it's not individual units. But selling snacks on Amazon, if you've got a snack idea and you wanted to launch it, if you're doing it at a commercial kitchen or you have one that you can rent, that's definitely a great idea. Now, one way to do this actually is get a little creative, is that you rent a commercial kitchen, you produce it, and then ship it to Amazon's FBA program. Now, FBA's program is known as Fulfillment by Amazon, and that program allows you to actually use their warehouse as if it's kind of your retail store, because your product listing on Amazon's website allows you to tap into their warehouse. You use a snack product, they pull the product off and they ship it to the customer for a fee, of course, but then that allows you to basically run the business from the side of production and not necessarily the logistics and handling customer service and everything on the back end, because Amazon can do that for you. Is Amazon still profitable? Yes, Amazon FBA is. You do have to experiment the size of your packaging, the price point that you need to make it at, and whether or not you should bundle a variety of snacks together to create a unique product. So there's a handful of factors that you could really tap into, but you have to do a little bit of research and kind of experimentation to find out what is the sweet spot. Like, how much should you charge? How big should the package be? Because Amazon FBA's fees are based a lot on weight, size, and the duration of the storage time that it's actually in inventory. So you want to make sure that it's small, compact. Try to get it under a pound if possible. Anything over a pound, then I would say you need to go to maybe 3 or 4 pounds, because that's when the prices go up much, much higher for FBA fulfillment. So, can I sell snacks on Amazon? Most definitely. How do you do it legitimately? Make sure you get a business license. You're doing it in a commercial kitchen, and you're maybe tapping into Amazon FBA, because that's really going to be one of the fastest way to turn over a lot of product in a short period of time. But make sure your price point is around that $30 mark, and that the offer is for free shipping as well. So, yes, definitely sell candy and snacks. Do sell like crazy. You got to just make sure that you're doing it from the right place, because you can't do it from home. You can't sell homemade candy to Amazon. That's actually illegal. So I will see you guys on the next question. If you have any, see you on the next video. If you have any questions about this, let me know down below and I'll tap into another video. We'll do some more of your subscriber questions, and I appreciate you guys asking. I'll see you guys in the next video. How do I start selling on Amazon with no experience, and what do I need to know before I start selling on Amazon? So welcome to Marketing Food Online. This video is going to be all about something that is not talked about a lot, if at all any, on YouTube. Now, I've been on Amazon for nearly a decade now. We have sold over $1 million worth of our snacks and candies and baked goods and all these other good items, the 300 plus items that we have on Amazon. So my wife and I have learned through only experience, but I thought I'd put together a video since I've got my YouTube channel here, and I've been teaching people for over 5 years now here on YouTube. I wanted to put together a list of actual terminology, words that you need to know and understand if you're asking yourself, how do I start selling on Amazon with no experience? To be honest with you, the idea of understanding how much it costs and the types of products and making a listing, that is all good and well. But I'm going to tell you right now, the backbone of any successful Amazon seller, or the backbone of an Amazon seller who no longer sells on Amazon because they didn't know what I'm about to tell you, is the words, the terminology, the things you need to know on the back end of your store in order for you to be successful. Creating a product and getting a co-packer or private label, all of that stuff is good. But if you don't understand the terminology and what these words mean, you will not be selling on Amazon very long. So I put together a handful of words and gave a full explanation as to what they are and how they impact you as a seller, especially if you're beginning. So if 2023 or even 2024 is going to be your first year selling on Amazon, well, I'm going to wish you all the best and good luck, but you need to understand what I'm about to tell you. So let's get started here. Number one, ASIN. ASIN. It's Amazon's standard identification number. This is a unique block of 10 letters and or numbers that identify your items. Every product sold on Amazon has its own ASIN number. So be sure to understand right out of the gate what an ASIN is and why your product needs it. Next up, Fulfillment by Amazon, FBA. This is a service provided by Amazon where sellers can store their products in Amazon's fulfillment centers. Amazon will handle storage, packaging, and shipping to the customers under the FBA program. Next up, very, very important, that is your Seller Central page. Now, this is the area where the web interface is used by sellers to manage and view their orders, inventory, and financials on Amazon's platform. Next up, the golden everyone wants buy box. This is called the buy box. The white box on the right side of Amazon product detail page where customers can add items for purchase to their cart. Sellers compete to quote-unquote win the buy box. That is something that we get between 94 and 96% of the time because of the particular products that we sell under the category that we sell under. And sometimes it does fluctuate and goes ups and down, but all in all, it is definitely something you want to strive for because it definitely increases your sales. Next up is Fulfillment by Merchant. This is actually FBM. When the seller handles the storage and shipping of their own products rather than using Amazon's FBA service, it is known as FBM. That is actually the business model we use because we used to use FBA for quite a few products, but it actually got more costly for our particular items and we ended up not using it anymore. Next up is private label. These are products that are manufactured by one company but branded and sold under another company's brand. That is something that you definitely want to look into if you have a particular product that maybe you want to expand your reach and you want to mass produce it out of a private label business. Next up, Amazon Prime. Of course, you may be familiar with that. From a seller standpoint, it's very important. A subscription-based service offered by Amazon that provides members with various benefits, including free 2-day shipping on eligible items. Next up is Inventory Performance Index. This is the IPI. Now, this is a metric in Seller Central that reflects how efficiently and effectively you're managing your inventory. Next up, this one is super important. This is something that we took advantage of, and I highly recommend if you've got your own brand, is Amazon Brand Registry, a program that helps brands protect their intellectual property and create an accurate and trusted experience for customers on Amazon. Next up, the dreaded A to Z guarantee. You definitely don't want to get those. That's all I'm going to say. A guarantee provided by Amazon that ensures customers receive the products they ordered or can request a refund. Next up is your listing. Okay, now this is the product page for each item you sell on Amazon. Amazon Advertising. Now, the platform's suite of advertising services, including sponsored products, sponsored brands, or display ads, falls under what's known as Amazon Advertising. Next up, you want to look at and always take a look at the quality of your Amazon storefront, a branded destination on Amazon for brands to showcase their product story and catalog. Now, this is the next one I'm going to tell you about is something that's really, really crucial if you want to be selling directly to businesses and can increase your profits considerably because they buy so much, but it's the B2B. This is business to business. Now, that refers to selling products or services directly to other businesses as opposed to individual consumers. That's something that we do all the time with our products, and we have a lot of corporate orders and business orders that are very big that come through under the business to business. Now, next up is retail arbitrage. Now, this is definitely a topic that's discussed on YouTube quite often. Now, that's the process of buying products from retail stores or other online marketplaces and then selling them at a higher price on Amazon. Amazon Seller App, a mobile app for sellers to manage their Amazon business on the go. I highly recommend that if you become an Amazon seller, we actually have that on all of our phones. My wife even has it. We can definitely access all of our information at the click of a button. Sales rank. Now, a number Amazon assigns to products based on their sales history and other factors.
A lower number indicates higher sales, so you definitely want to be either number one or within at least the top 100. That's always a plus. Now, feedback. Very, very crucial, very important aspect of selling. Ratings and comments that are given by customers about a seller or product on Amazon. Next up, you want to apply for what's known as a pro merchant, a seller account that requires a monthly fee but offers lower per item selling fees. Long-term storage fees. Now, these are actually fees charged to FBA sellers for inventory that has been in Amazon's fulfillment centers for over 365 days. And to be honest with you, if you have a product that hasn't sold in 365 days, you probably shouldn't be selling it on Amazon. Now, SKU, this is SKU. That is a stock keeping unit. Now, this is a unique identifier for each distinct product and or service that can be purchased. It's known as a SKU. Now, conversion rate, the percentage of visitors to a product listing that actually end up purchasing the product. You want a very high conversion rate, obviously. If you have 100 people visit your product and 100 buy it, then you're on the path to success, trust me. Now, parent-child listing. Now, this is a listing format used on Amazon that groups variations of products like size or color under one main listing. Gated categories. Certain products under categories on Amazon actually require an approval before you sell. For instance, actually, if you're selling food, when I had to apply for it, I had to get ungated, which is the process to get ungated. And that is something that takes a little bit of time, but you have to get approval. Amazon's choice. Now, this is a badge that Amazon grants to certain listings based on their popularity, customer reviews, and other factors. Prime Day. Very important day because you can make a lot of money. An annual shopping event exclusively for Prime members with significant discounts and deals. Commingle inventory. When FBA sellers allow their products to be mixed with inventory from other sellers that have the same product. I'm not a big fan personally of that myself, but it is something that is available you need to be aware of. Referral fees. So the commission fee that sellers pay to Amazon for each item sold is known as a referral fee. Amazon Early Reviewer Program. Now, this is a program where Amazon encourages customers who have already purchased a product to share their authentic experience about the product. Flat file. Now, this is an interesting one. Now, a spreadsheet format that's actually used to upload product data to Amazon in bulk. Headline search ads. This is a type of sponsored advertisement that appears at the top of Amazon search results. A lightning deal. Now, this is a promotion in which a limited number of discounts are offered for an item for a short period. Reimbursements. Refunds given by Amazon to sellers for various reasons, including lost or damaged inventory. Standard inventory and stranded inventory. Items in Amazon's fulfillment centers that are not currently listed for sale on Amazon. All right, and then also KDP. Now, this is that Kindle Direct Publishing. This is also associated with Amazon, but Amazon's ebook publishing unit is known as Kindle Direct Publishing. Lastly is glance view. The number of times shoppers view a product detail page related to an item that you're selling. Restock limits. This is an inventory quantity limits set by Amazon itself for how much a specific product a seller can send into FBA at a certain time. And finally, removal orders, a request made by an Amazon seller, you, to actually have their inventory returned to them or disposed of by Amazon. Now, keep in mind, this is just a fraction. I could actually go on and on, but I don't want to take up much more of your time. But this is a fraction of what you need to know. These are also very, very key important ones that I actually personally think are super important for any new seller on Amazon. So if you're looking to start a business on Amazon, what do I need to know before I start selling on Amazon? Well, these are definitely something I would say if I was coaching you, you need to know these things. Because if you don't, keeping up the metrics on the back end of your store is going to be very challenging. So thank you for watching. If this was helpful, definitely give us a big thumbs up. If you have any questions about some of these terms or terminology for Amazon, or if you're a brand new seller, what has your experience been with understanding all of these different terms? Let us know down in the comment section, and I'll see you on the next video.
So do you need FDA approval to actually sell food on Amazon? Well, in this video, I'm actually going to explain the reasons why you may need them or may not. And the other things that you need to understand about what the FDA does and what Amazon expects from you if you look to sell food on Amazon. So if you want to get an online business started selling on Amazon, this video is going to explain to you what the FDA needs and what Amazon needs. We're going to get to that right now. All right, so welcome back to Marketing Food Online. So this is Damien Roberti, founder and CEO of Marketing Food Online. Welcome to my channel. If this is your first video, definitely hit the subscribe button and always hit the bell notification because we have videos and content uploaded all the time. So we have our second channel, by the way. That link will be down below in the description. That's Marketing Food Online 2, with additional content geared towards e-commerce. And of course, 2 other channels, which we're excited to launch, which was Cottage Foods Laws, which is a home-based food business channel, all about the cottage food laws in the US, and Food Truck Freaks, which is all about food truck entrepreneurship. We have all kinds of great content that we're putting out on YouTube. So this is a great question, and it's actually one that we get emailed quite constantly because there is a lot of people who are looking to sell food on Amazon, and they're not really sure of what is expected or what's needed because it's a gated category that you need to get ungated for. So FDA, do you need FDA approval to sell food on Amazon? No, you don't. It's not FDA approval to sell food on Amazon, but with that being said, there is things that are in place. There are regulations and procedures and policies that the FDA puts forth that you need to make sure you follow, because in order to sell on Amazon, Amazon states it clearly, you must have FDA regulation packaging of your food products. It must be labeled FDA and everything else that's expected as far as the labeling and packaging of your products concerned. So you need to follow those guidelines in order to sell on Amazon, but you don't necessarily need to get checked off by any agency or person within FDA in order for you to actually sell on Amazon. So what is it specifically that the FDA does? Well, the FDA, when it comes to food products, they actually have the capacity to inspect your facility and come in and make sure that your processes are set up, your quality management systems, your QMSs as they're known, and your suppliers, your distributors, and all of the vendors that you deal with. If there's any issues that pop up with your food product while they're either selling on Amazon or anywhere else, they have the capacity to come in and inspect those facilities and make sure that the food that you're preparing, you're processing, you're manufacturing, you're storing is up to code, and make sure that it's done properly and that there is no reason why the public should be scared of consuming your food product. So the FDA does have that power, and they do have those regulatory powers and policies in place for that. So as far as packaging is concerned, make sure that you're following all the nutritional analysis that has to be on there, your allergen labeling and allergen warning, your ingredient listing, and all of the aspects that come along with FDA compliance in order for them to obviously not get a call that they have to come in and inspect your facility. So the question about actually getting an FDA to approve it before you get on Amazon, you don't necessarily need that. No, it's not part of the steps. But when you start to apply for Amazon in the gated category of the gourmet food category, you will definitely need to show proof of your business license. That is obviously a no-brainer. If you're selling food products, or if you're manufacturing or making them at any level or any sort outside of cottage food law, you want to make sure that you definitely have a business license, that you're a legitimate business, and of course collecting sales tax with the state and remitting it as well, so you need a sales tax certificate as well. Amazon now requires, of course, they always have, but you need to make sure that you've got insurance. So what you'll need to do if you want to start selling on Amazon and you want to be in the food category, you've got to list them on your insurance policy. So if you have a food business, that you've got your license, and of course you have an insurance policy, Amazon needs to be listed as a company that your product and your insurance policy will protect them as well, and also protect you. So make sure you get a food business insurance policy for whatever type of food product that you're selling, and you want to make sure that you get that ASAP, because if you want to apply for it, you've got to show proof that they are on that policy. Next up, they're going to be looking at vendor invoices too. So when we applied for it, this was back in 2014, we had to show vendor invoices for I think about 2 to 3 months back. People that we bought from, legitimate vendors, food vendors who supply ingredients, packaging, labeling, any of that sort. Those are some things that we actually had our own experience. We had to provide for them and email them back and forth. And of course, this process takes a little bit of time, so be super, super patient with it. But in order for you to get approved, these are some of the things that they're going to probably request. Now, it's kind of odd. I've actually spoke with some of the people who are subscribers here on our channel who have got approved for Amazon, and I asked them, what exactly did Amazon request from you? And it's really kind of odd because so many stories are so different. They are not all the same. Some of them said, well, I didn't have to show this or this, and I only showed just one page of a vendor that I buy an ingredient from, and that was it. For us, it was a handful of vendors. I think it was about 3 to 4, at least at the time. And of course, the insurance policy as well. So then I asked them about that too, and they said, well, for us to get ungated, they didn't request any information about insurance. So it seems a little bit odd, but there's not everyone's story is the same, and not all the information they request is always exactly the same. That's one of the good and kind of bad things about Amazon, is that they have a lot of great policies and procedures in place, but not necessarily enforced or always the same, I guess, if you will, for every vendor, which is a little odd. So next up, proof of incorporation 2. You want to make sure that you've got your information set up. If you've got an LLC, if you've got a C Corp, whatever that entity status, as it's known, whatever that may be, they're going to request to actually show a proof or copy of that, or you can email that too as well. So make sure that you get incorporated. Now, as far as the insurance, if you're kind of figuring out, well, what kind of insurance, how do I go about finding who sells insurance? Down below in this description below the video, I'll have some information there about a company that we actually use, as a matter of fact, and also a great way to get your LLC incorporated, and you actually can do it for free. This website we found is a great resource. You can do the incorporation for free and just pay simply the state fee, which is, you can't get around that. You have to obviously pay that when you file your papers of incorporation. So definitely take a look at those resources down below. They'll help you out as well. And of course, our website. And we also have a podcast. We have a ton of other great links down below. So check that out under the video when you get done watching. So at the end of the day, FDA does not necessarily require approval for you to sell on Amazon. But again, you want to make sure that you abide by what the rules and policies they have set up in place for packaging to make sure it's correct in order to sell on Amazon. So the answer to the question is no. You do not. You do not need FDA approval to sell on Amazon. You need Amazon to approve your business to sell on the food category. So thank you guys for that question. I wanted to pop out this really quick video, short and sweet and to the point, but you definitely, I would highly recommend you pursue the idea of selling on Amazon. Jump through all the hoops, whatever it is that they may be requesting or asking, make sure that you definitely do that, because it's well worth it. Take time to learn and understand Amazon as a platform, because it's not that simple on the back end. When you start figuring out all the metrics, shipping products on time, if you've got damages, making sure customer service emails are answered immediately, all of the aspects of running any type of a business online definitely comes into play when you're on Amazon, so be sure that you follow that. Now, I'm actually going to start a series. We're going to have, I think it's 10. We're going to have, is it 10? We're going to do about 10 videos. We're going to set up 5 to 7 different keywords. These are terms and words that you need to know. When you log into your account on the back end of Amazon, there's a lot there. There's a lot of different words and keywords and things that you need to understand what they mean and how they impact your metrics, how they measure your seller rating. All of that stuff gets on the back end, gets a little bit confusing if you've never been on Amazon or sold before. So we're going to go through each of these terms and explain to you what they are and what they mean, so you can have a better understanding about selling on Amazon and starting an Amazon business, whether it's FBA, Fulfillment by Amazon, FBM, which is Fulfillment by Merchant. These are good examples of what we're going to go into and explain what are those acronyms and what are those abbreviations, what are all these words that they have and why are they important. So definitely stay tuned for that series, and I'll create a playlist that'll show you each one of those videos. We'll have 10 videos on that playlist. You can simply hit play and watch every single one of them if you want, or you can watch one at a time, so you can get a better understanding of what in the world are all of these words mean on the back end of your store, so you can succeed. So with that being said, definitely share our content with your family and friends, and be sure to go to social media as well. We have a lot of social media presence. You can join some of our groups. We have a Marketing Food Online group on Facebook, and we also have a Cottage Food Laws group that has about, what do we have, about 5,000? Yeah, I think it's about 5,000 members as well. So I'll see you guys on our next video. Thanks for watching Marketing Food Online. And if you are looking to create your own food truck, start a home-based food business under the Cottage Food Law, franchise a food operation, start a packaged food business, private label your own food product, sell on Amazon, get your own online store, or sell food online, remember to subscribe and check out these videos for more resources. Take care. All right, so what are Amazon's requirement for food products? When you are looking to sell a product through Amazon FBA, or even just on Amazon, but this video specifically, we're going to dive into a question that we had from one of you, our subscribers, in regards to Amazon FBA. I'll make sure that is on there. There we go. Okay. And it was in regards to a meat jerky business. I believe it's either beef jerky or chicken jerky of some kind that the customer was making. the subscriber was going to ask us about what is the quantity to send them in and what are some of the requirements to do that. So I wanted to dive into that question specifically on this video. So I wanted to kind of touch base with you a little bit about some of the selling requirements in utilizing Amazon FBA for food. It is actually quite different than any other type of product when you're tapping into that type of logistics and distribution. So in this podcast, I wanted to get right down into it. So if you're brand new, welcome. My name is Damian Roberti. I'm founder and CEO of Marketing Food Online. We are food entrepreneurs. My wife and I have been selling online for over 14 years. I make a full-time living doing what I do. On Amazon's platform, actually, we've just touched out a little bit over $1 million of our snacks and candies and things. We actually have a commercial kitchen here just next to our studio. That's where we produce everything and make everything. So let's dive specifically into, I wanted to give you some tips and pointers and some of the requirements that I have actually had to acquire, because at one point we had 40 to 45 items in FBA. So selling food products through Amazon FBA Fulfillment by Amazon, as it's called, comes with its own, of course, sets of challenges and considerations. So I want to get you some understanding of, here are some key points that you want to be aware of when you're selling food via that service in particular, because of food category, gourmet food category, it is a trick just to get into it, to get approved, but then to tap into it and make it profitable for food, it's very challenging. Number one, expiration dates, very, very crucial. So the products that actually have an expiration date must have a remaining shelf life of at least 90 days when received by Amazon. So the items that expire and or still in Amazon's fulfillment centers within that 50-day period actually will be removed and even thrown away. So you want to make sure that you're keeping on top of your quantities that are in hand in the facility. So the expiration date also must be displayed in a certain format, giving the month, the date, and the 4-digit year, not just 2. Next up, the labeling. This is very critical and extremely important that you follow this. Labeling. All food products must be labeled properly according to, of course, your local regulations and FDA regulations. This includes nutritional information. You want to make sure you have allergen warning on there as well, and any other relevant details that you want to have about the product. Obviously, the net weight has to be on there as well, your allergens, your nutritional analysis, as I mentioned. Yes, and then, of course, your brand. You want to have your logo on the front and the back. Now, the product name, the list of ingredients, allergen information, and place of production should clearly be mentioned. Now, this is something that a lot of people may misunderstand, but you want to have either the address of your facility or your website with the address on the website. There has to be some traceability. They got to know where did it come from. So packaging. Now, the food products must be protected against, of course, any kind of contamination and should be packaged in a way that actually prevents any damage during the shipping and storage process. This is really important if you've got food products that could potentially break or damage, like for instance, bags of potato chips, pretzels, any meltable items that could be squished or mushed or grabbed or mixed up. Those you want to be aware of. Packaging should be new and, of course, not previously used. You can't sell or refurbish food products, so you can't do that either. Restricted products. Now, Amazon has a list of restricted products, specifically even in the food category. Now, this ensures that the food product you're selling is not on that list. For instance, certain perishable goods or even alcoholic beverages may be restricted as well. These are products that are perishable that could actually go bad sitting on the shelf. They're not shelf stable, time or temperature sensitive. And let's dive into that too. The other thing that I kind of taught me along the way from just experience was time and temperature sensitive products. So if you're selling products that are sensitive to temperatures, be aware that Amazon might not actually have specialized storage for those items. And as a matter of fact, they don't. We had a lot of candies we sent out. We had to pull them back during the spring and summertime. Chocolates, for example, they can melt during summer or spring months. The facilities aren't necessarily kept at a certain temperature or adequate temperature, and sometimes they do melt dramatically. Inventory management, you want to be on top of this too. Now, given the perishable nature of food products, it's actually crucial that you want to manage inventory effectively. You want to monitor your inventory levels closely to avoid having expired products in the warehouse. As I mentioned, if it's within that 50-day window, they will grab it and then throw it into the trash can. And they actually charge you, by the way, for them to pull it from the shelf and throw it into the trash. Next up is the shipping. Let's make sure that's good. All right, sorry. Ensure that your products are shipped in a manner that maintains quality. You want to make sure your product arrives perfect, guys. So this might mean using insulated packaging in some cases, or even cold packs in certain items if it has to be maintained at a certain temperature. Now, I get a lot of questions about food products through FBA and the return process. So obviously, food products are typically not returnable, but you'll still need to have a clear return policy in place. You want to make sure you understand you either refund the customer or send out a new product. So if a customer receives a damaged or expired product, you need to process and to address that issue ASAP. Normally, if you get a complaint or a question or a comment, via email through Amazon, you have 24 hours to answer it. Regulations and compliance. Now, this is another thing you want to think of. Ensure that you're compliant with all your local food safety regulations. This might include regulations that have actually been set up by the FDA in the US or the FSA in the UK. So if you're selling food through Amazon UK, sorry about that, you want to definitely check those regulations as well. So some countries or even regions might have specific regulations about importing certain food products. So you want to ensure that you're aware of those as well, even when you're selling internationally. So we're getting back to the question that I had before. The one thing that was really interesting about the question was that they wanted to know if you guys should I send out 100 bags or should I send out 1,000? So what's the best quantity, Damien, to send of my product? There is no good equation for this, but let me give you some experience of what I did. When it comes to food products and you've got a specific designated window of expiration or best buy, it's not actually expiration, it's actually best buy. You want to send out at first, when it's a new product, you want to send out about 24 to 48 units. Don't send out 100, don't send out 1,000. And let me explain why. You want to send out about 24 to 48 because what I did when I first had some of our trail mixes and some of our other brittle candies, which are really temperature sensitive, is I sent out a lot. I think it was close to 100 or 200 units. I was hoping that it would sell. With it being a new product, it's very hard to get traction with new products and it takes time. All that time that your product sits in a shelf in a warehouse with Amazon, it just means the less time it's going to sell. I'd rather have 24 or 48 units and sell out of it and then replenish it than have 100 units in there and I sold 10 and I just had to throw away 90. Or I sold 50, threw away 90. Or 50, sorry. So you want to just keep that in mind, that the less, when you first start off with, I'd rather have you send less amounts that you can replenish as opposed to say, yeah, you know what, send out 1,000 units or even 1,500 and then you don't sell half of them. You're just wasting your money and your resources. So highly recommend that you take the time to stay on top of the inventory, of course, but send out a few and sell out of it. Send out more, sell out of it. If you send 48 and you sell out of them, then maybe next time you can double that up. Maybe you can send 100 units. But the other thing I was going to tell you is that there are some great products that are good for a long time and are not time or temperature sensitive. Now, your question was about meat jerky. So jerky in general is actually a very fantastic product because it can be held. By the way, they handle these packages very rough. All right, so yes, so they actually handle a lot of these packages very roughly, if you want to say that, in the warehouses. So things like meat jerky, spices, nuts, trail mixes, dry, long shelf life products that are durable are fantastic for Amazon FBA. Other things that are not, obviously, chocolate truffles or chocolate covered Oreos or pretzel rods that are chocolate, anything that's very delicate or time or temperature sensitive, not a good idea for Amazon FBA. So your question was about 100 or 1,000. If I was me, if you're having 2 or 3 or 4 different flavors, you have different types and different flavor profiles, send about 24 to 30 packs of each. That's it for right now. I would not send hundreds and hundreds of packs. Sell out of it, like I said, and then replenish it. When it comes to meat jerky, it is a great item for Amazon FBA because the quality of it really isn't necessarily time or temperature sensitive. So if I were to get a package of beef jerky or meat jerky that's been in a warehouse, it's probably going to be really good. So those are great items. Spices, again, have a very long shelf life, and you can handle them very, very roughly, and you can send them. They don't damage or break unless they're in a glass bottle. So keep that in mind. I think that the product itself, yes, is a great idea. You could do it very well, but make sure you stay on top of the inventory and you know which is coming up as far as expiration dates. Now, a couple other really important legal things: liability and, of course, insurance. Now, you need to have an insurance policy when you are working with Amazon FBA for food. Given that you're selling consumables, of course, there's a risk that customers claiming they got sick from your product, which may happen. Thank God I've actually been in the business for 14 years. I haven't had any of that myself, so that doesn't hang up. But it's wise to have liability insurance, and it's also necessary because Amazon needs to be on that policy. It needs to be written on the writer, okay? Now, the other thing you want to keep about, it's kind of a good and bad thing, and I've experienced positives and negatives too, is reviews and feedback. So food products can be subjective in terms of taste and preferences, so people have a tendency to be a little more judgmental. Monitor your customer reviews closely and address any consistent feedbacks or concerns. Be on top of that, guys. It's definitely something you want to do as well. The last thing I wanted to touch on that's really important to keep your food products moving through the Amazon FBA system and not staying there is product listings. You want to ensure that your product listings are accurate. Misrepresentation can lead to serious issues with people, especially if Customers rely on ingredient lists due to allergens. That's also really important too, dietary restrictions. So make sure that you have all of your ingredients or allergens listed. Very important for customers to choose your product. So selling food on Amazon FBA can definitely be a profitable idea, but it's essential to be meticulous. You got to be about the details to ensure that the customer's safety and satisfaction is always a 100%, as well as to remain compliant, of course, with Amazon's policies and local regulations. So keep all that in mind. Some really good advice. So if you're looking to sell a food product, definitely take heed of some of these things I mentioned. I learned kind of the hard way. We used to have a lot of items in Amazon FBA. The price to fulfill them have gone up, so it's not necessarily something for our products. There's a lot of lighter items. If you're below a pound, if you're less than a pound, you can cash in on some of the better price points to do fulfillment from. But definitely keep in mind that it's just something that you don't necessarily want certain products in Amazon's hands, especially during the spring and summertime, because they do not put ice packs in certain products, and they will melt, and customers will get complaining. And that falls on you, not Amazon. Amazon washes their hands of any responsibility when they fulfill your product. Trust me. And all right, if you have any more questions, let us know, and definitely hit the subscribe button if you've got more questions about Amazon. We'll be happy to answer them for you. I'll see you on our next podcast. Do Amazon sellers have to have insurance? How much is Amazon seller insurance? So if you are looking to sell online and you're definitely wanting to get an online e-commerce business up and running on Amazon, you are definitely going to be needing some insurance. So I'm going to cover a little bit as to what the insurance is, how much it costs, and even give you a resource you can check down below this video to check out as well for your insurance needs. And we're going to do that right now. All right, so welcome back to Marketing Food Online. It is Damian Roberti as always. If you are brand new to our channel and this is your first video, definitely hit the subscribe button and the bell notification so you can actually see all the magnificent videos that we produce on a daily basis. So let's get right to it. You may be asking yourself, do Amazon sellers need insurance to sell on Amazon? So yes, you actually do. More specifically, there are pro seller plans that are required to have an insurance policy. Damian, why do I have to have insurance to sell a product on Amazon? It's product liability insurance. This is the type of insurance to make sure that you, and of course Amazon, because that is the platform you are selling through, they do not get sued or are liable for any products that could be potentially hazardous to people. More specifically here on our channel about food. I'm actually a seller in the gourmet food category on Amazon for the past 9 years. Me and my wife turned our small little food business on Amazon into a 6-figure a year business. It is a lot of work, trust me. It is not something that's easy to do, but it's definitely something that anyone can do if you stick to it. Well, it's great to do that, but you also need to have insurance and of course a business license and a few other things, because there are certain categories on Amazon that you are required to get ungated on. And not only that, but there are a few other hoops to jump through, including insurance. Now, there are some categories that you could sell on Amazon. You do not necessarily have to jump through a bunch of hoops, but I highly recommend that if you are selling anything that is of a physical nature, not a digital product or an ebook. Obviously, people cannot swallow an ebook and get sick from doing that. Now, they can read it and potentially get sick from reading your ebook, but that's a whole nother story. But yes, you do need to actually have insurance. If you're selling a physical product, even if it isn't consumed by somebody, it could be a microphone. It could be a product like a jacket. It could be a tool. It could be anything that someone could use but potentially get hurt with. You need to have product liability insurance. And now there are specific insurance coverage standards that they are also required as well. To get more specifics into that, check out those resources down below. We have our blog post that's got a bunch of free information. You definitely can check that out as well. But the really important thing is this. I think it was about 8 or 9 months ago, we had got an email to show proof of insurance, which we actually did have. We have had insurance. We have to, because the Department of Agriculture regulates our commercial kitchen. So they come in and they do their inspections and such. And within our state, under our business license and everything else, the legalities of it, we have to have insurance. And we always have had insurance for the past 12 years. But the actual uploading of that insurance onto the Amazon platform so they could verify that you have insurance is something that we had to do. And we sent that information up to them. The uploading process is very, very simple. But you definitely need to get the insurance policy and know that The coverage that you need to have is specific for the type of product that you have. Of course, I'm not an insurance agent. I'm not going to try to sell you insurance or talk about insurance plans because I can't technically. But I will let you know this, is that based upon the type of product you're selling, the nature of your business, your policy will have different coverages for different purposes and obviously different reasons. So make sure you check out what type of insurance you need for your food business. If it's a food business, that's what we focus on here at Marketing Food Online. And make sure that you have the right limits and the right amounts that you need to have for coverage. Now, also keep in mind not only product liability insurance, but if you employ people and you have a warehouse and they are producing a product of any kind, you also have any additional insurances that you would need to cover your employees as well. So make sure you double check on that. And as always, make sure that you have the right amount of insurance. Now, how much does that type of insurance policy, you had mentioned, Damien, in the introduction, you would cover that. So our insurance, I'll actually be quite transparent with you about our insurance. The policy that we have runs us about $500 to $600 annually. Now, the one thing I love about the specific insurance that we have is that we get to pay that every month. So in order for you to have insurance for your Amazon business, we don't pay that up front. It's actually just paid monthly, which breaks down to about $40 to $43, somewhere around $40-something a month, which is great for small business owners because as a small business owner, you probably don't have an extra $500 or $600 laying around that you want to pay out up front. So once you find the coverage that you get, double check and see what that monthly payment would be for you, and that would be more economical for you as a small business owner. That's one of the reasons why the specific company that we deal with, that we go through with our candy and snack business, allows us to do it by month. So, answer your question. Thank you guys for asking that question. Yes, you do have to have insurance on Amazon. And even if you're in a category that does not require that per se, or if you happen to even be on another platform like eBay or Etsy and you're selling a physical product and you don't have insurance, I highly recommend you get that because it's going to be a problem for you if somebody actually gets hurt or if someone gets sick consuming your food product or if they get hurt using your product, whatever that may be. And that could cause some legal problems and financial problems for you. So make sure you have a great LLC information set up for your business. Make sure you've got your business license, guys. And thirdly and finally, make sure you have the right insurance policies based upon the type of business you operate. So if that was helpful, as always, I wanted to keep it short and sweet and to the point. Definitely give me a big thumbs up. If you have questions about insurance for product liability, let us know down below. If this didn't cover it, I love making content and creating our podcast and videos for you guys, covering your questions. And I'll